Hi, my name is Zach Kazan, and I'm an editor at Worn and Wound, and we're here at Watches and Wonders. I'm standing in front of the Grand Seiko booth here at the PAL Expo, and Grand Seiko has a whole bunch of really cool releases this year, and we're going to be bringing you news and information on a whole bunch of them. But there's one that really is kind of set apart from the rest, and it's a pretty major development for Grand Seiko, and that's the Tentograph. The Tentograph is Grand Seiko's first mechanical chronograph. It's kind of hard to believe that Grand Seiko, through their massive resurgence and popularity in the United States and across the world, didn't have a fully mechanical chronograph on board. They've released a bunch of spring drive chronographs, which are fan favorites of really die-hard Grand Seiko enthusiasts. But the call for a mechanical chronograph was heard by Grand Seiko this year. They finally delivered. The Tentograph is based on the 9S-A5 caliber, the high beat dual impulse escapement caliber that they released a few years ago as part of the Evolution 9 collection. This watch marks the debut of the caliber 9S-C5, which is a modular chronograph movement that takes advantage of all of the great features of the 9S-A5 and applies them to a chronograph. So that's incredibly useful for precision timekeeping, which is what you want in a chronograph. That's kind of the whole point. So high beat rate chronograph is really sort of an essential component for any brand's sports watch lineup, and now Grand Seiko has that with the Tentograph. So it's a pretty exciting development with this new introduction of the Tentograph. It's a genuinely kind of new and different watch for Grand Seiko. So the Tentograph is part of the Evolution 9 collection, which most of you will probably be familiar with. The design profile of these watches is subtly different from classic Grand Seiko watches. The case lines are curvier, and the watches are a little bit broader and have a low center of gravity. They're really designed for comfort on the wrist, and they work really well in the sports watch sort of environment because they're robust and durable, and you really feel like you could actually kind of use them and wear them for their intended purpose. On the wrist, the Tentograph it wears large. It's a 43 millimeter watch. It's about 15 millimeters tall, but because of that Evolution 9 design language, which really kind of conforms to the wrist, the watch is surprisingly wearable. It's not overwhelming. It's commanding, but I think that if you're inclined to wear large watches, this is a watch that you won't have any sort of trouble integrating into your daily life. It's a solid feeling, nicely executed large watch. Tentograph name is a combination of the key concepts around the watch, which is a 10 beat per second movement, a 3-day power reserve, and an automatic chronograph functionality. You combine all those things together and you get the Tentograph. The dial of the Tentograph is a beautiful shade of dark blue. Blue is a traditional color for Grand Seiko. They use it in a lot of special watches that introduce a new concept. And the pattern on the dial is the Mountawate pattern, which is really now associated very much with their high beat rate movements. So it's totally fitting that the Mountawate pattern is the first pattern we see on a Tentograph. It feels significant that Grand Seiko chose the Tentograph and named the Tentograph and put that name right on the dial. It's kind of a statement on the part of Grand Seiko and kind of reflects their enthusiasm and commitment to the piece and the Evolution 9 collection in general, I think. The Tentograph will be available from Grand Seiko boutiques beginning in June. The retail price is $13,700. That's an expensive watch, no doubt, but spec for spec, this is really competitive with other chronographs in that price range from other brands. The Tentograph isn't the only watch that Grand Seiko released at Watches and Wonders. Obviously, there are more new releases to talk about, and you can find information on those releases and other releases and a whole lot more coverage from the scene here at Watches and Wonders at wornandwound.com, and check out Worn and Wound on YouTube for more great video content as well. Thanks.